You are listening to Disney Travel Tales. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and this is episode 1. I am so excited to be with you today for our very first episode. And we have a great guest. It's my son, Aiden, and we will be talking about our trip we just took for spring break in March of 2021. Our sponsor, Trolley Lane Travel, and owner Becky Abrizetti will be bringing us our guest each week. Becky and her agents are Disney experts. You will get their personalized attention 24/7 from the moment you start planning all the way to the end of your trip. They have insider tips and tricks to help guide you along your Disney vacation. We just used Becky to plan our trip, and I can attest to this. The best thing is they have access to special promotions and discounts, so you never have to worry if you are getting the best deal. They will take care of it for you. Saving you time and money is what they are best at, and guess what? It's all free to you. Let Trolley Lane Travel help you plan your next magical vacation. Visit them on the web at trolleylanetravel.com and go to their Request a Quote page for a free, no obligation quote. They are also on Facebook and Instagram at Trolley Lane Travel LLC. Tell them Disney Travel Tales sent you. Okay, so let's get going on today's adventure. Imagine yourself with your favorite Disney treat. Mine is going to be a Mickey bar today, and off we go. Hi, Aiden. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hello.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Aiden. I'm 15 years old, and I am your oldest son.
Yes, you are. What is your experience with Disney vacations?
I've really liked Disney vacations. I've only been on 2 so far, but both of them I've been on, I've enjoyed both of them a ton. And they've been at very different times in my life. And so I had like completely different experiences both times around, and both were very fun.
Yes, so we went back in 2014 and you were 8, I'm pretty sure, 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to Disney World, and that was a really fun trip. And then we went back in 2016 to a Disney resort, but this time we went to Disneyland, and that was also fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited to plan a new trip for our family to go back to Disney World Resort so we could take my youngest daughter, Amelia. She is 8, and she had never been. She went with us to Disneyland, but she did not go with us to Disney World because she was too young. So I started planning our trip with Becky in October of 2020. We planned to go for our spring break in March. And I wanted to tell the kids about the trip, but I also wanted to surprise them with it. So we surprised them on Christmas. That was one of their Christmas presents. And I wrapped a few clues, and they kind of had to guess what the surprise was.
Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure the clues were one of them was a puzzle, one of them was an autograph book, and then another was a t-shirt, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And I would say I was pretty good at guessing. I knew after the second theme, which was the book, I knew instantly what it was. And it was very exciting because it was on Christmas after we got all of our stuff. And then we opened this gift and found out we were going to Disney. It was super exciting, and I felt that the way it was executed and telling us was really smart.
Yeah, it was fun. Amelia was kind of upset that she had to wait all the way until March. I remember she was like, March, that's so far away.
Mm-hmm.
But it got her pretty quickly. So before we went on the trip, I was aware that park capacity was kind of lower than, I guess, full capacity. But I still kind of thought that the parks would be busy, being that it was spring break. So we all sat down, and I had everyone write down their one must-do for each park. So we could at least make sure we did the one thing everyone wanted to do at each park. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really smart just because we just made sure we did the thing we were most looking forward to. We made that top priority. So we didn't just do a ton of things and then forget about our most ones and then just end up not doing it and regretting it. The most ones I chose was Rise of the Resistance for Hollywood Studios. That was my most wanted ride, and I'll talk a lot more about that ride once we get to our Hollywood, once we start talking about Hollywood Studios. For Animal Kingdom, I wanted to do Flight of Passage the most. For Epcot, I wanted to do Test Track because I remember doing Test Track whenever I went in 2014, and it was one of my favorite rides, so wanted to go back and do that again. And for Magic Kingdom, I'm pretty sure mine was Thunder Railroad.
Yeah, it was Big Thunder Railroad.
Yes,
Big
Big
Thunder
Thunder
Mountain.
Railroad.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we traveled March 12th through 19th. It was a Friday to a Friday. We stayed at the Art of Animation Resort in the Cars area. It was a family suite. And it was 5 of us, me, my husband Cameron, Aiden, and then my other son Asher, who's 13, and my daughter Amelia, who is 8. And we flew Southwest out of Austin on the way there, and we flew JetBlue home. I was just looking for the cheapest flight options, and that's kind of how that all played out. And we had a 5-day park hopper ticket. So we flew Southwest. We left here at 12:20 and landed at 3:30. The flight was super easy, don't you think?
Yes, the flight was really easy. Some people you might hear talk about like wearing a mask and it's like really annoying on a flight. But personally, in my opinion, I thought the mask wearing wasn't even that big of a deal. Like 10 minutes into the flight, I just completely like ignored it and I did my own thing. And it wasn't even that big of a deal, just felt like a normal flight.
Yeah, the flight was nonstop and it was pretty fast, so the mask wearing wasn't that big of a deal. I agree. It wasn't that big of a deal. So we landed at MCO and we grabbed a snack at Auntie Anne's. We love those pretzels. So we grabbed a pretzel and I had downloaded the Lyft app because we did not want to ride the Magical Express. On our last trip, we rode Magical Express and I remember we had to wait on the bus a long time when we got on. And then we were one of the last resorts that they dropped off. And so it just felt like it took a really long time. So I had done a little bit of research and saw that getting a Lyft should be pretty easy and inexpensive. However, that was not the case.
Mm-hmm. The Lyft experience was not easy because we got a Lyft as we're going down to grab our bags. And as we went out to get our Lyft, it said it should only be 5 minutes. And we wait 5 minutes, and then it says the person's doing another loop around, and it's going to take another 10 minutes. So we wait the 10 minutes, and then he just starts leaving all of a sudden, just leaving the airport. So we just assumed that guy bailed on us, which he did. He ended up bailing on us. So we tried to get another person, but then we found out all the Lyft people were sold out. Like there were no more Lyft people.
Yeah, it came up on the app and said there were no more drivers available in our area.
Mm-hmm. Which was a very stressful situation because by then the Magical Express people have already left. And now we don't have any Lyft. So our only options were Uber and a taxi.
Yeah, so Cameron downloaded the Uber app and it said that it was like, I think an Uber Black could come get us, but it was going to be $150, which just seemed so ridiculous to pay so much to get to the resort. So he looked over and saw where the taxis were and ran down there and asked them if they could get us on a taxi. And they said, yeah, that it would be about 15 minutes. So we all walked down there and it ended up being like 10 minutes. Like we didn't wait that long at all. And we got on a taxi and he took us straight to our resort. It was $75, which was more than I had planned on. But at that point, we were just kind of happy to be on our way.
Yes.
So we got to the resort. We'd never been to the Art of Animation before. Becky recommended it to us for the family suite just because we are a family of 5 and we have 2 teenagers. And she just, told us how nice the 2 bathrooms was going to be. and just the space that we would all have. So we had looked at pictures of it and we were excited to go and see it. But I honestly was surprised at how big the room was. What about you?
Yes, the room was very nice. They had its own kitchen area, which was a lot bigger than I thought, a living area, and then the master bedroom and bathroom. Two bathrooms. And both are really nice bathrooms. The aesthetic looked really nice in the room, and it just was a lot of room, especially for 5 people.
Yeah, we had so much space. It was great. So once we got to the resort, we went to check in. There was kind of a long line that took about 20 minutes, but it wasn't that big of a deal. The cast members were working really hard and were very efficient. So we checked in, got our room number, found out we were in building 2 of the Cars area. That morning while we were at the airport, I had done a Instacart order for some snacks and bottled water for us to keep in our room. And I had planned for that to be delivered around 3:30. That's when our flight was landing. And so they delivered that and left it at Bell Services. So after we checked in, we went and picked up our groceries. They put it all on a luggage cart for us and we wheeled it off to our room. What was your impression of the Cars area as we got there and was walking through it?
It was really cool. It kind of felt like the Cars Land in Disneyland, but like a lot smaller, like a hotel. But like they had the car models of the cars, like life-size models, all around the Cars area. The cozy cone was really cute. Just seeing that. They had the iconic locations like the Leaning Tower of Tires, um, the Tomaters area, and then the giant spring area that one scene in Cars where Lightning McQueen and that I can't remember her name exactly, but that the blue car, the one that he falls in love with.
Yes. I can't
Yes.
remember the name either, but yeah.
So a lot of iconic locations and stuff like that, and it kind of just felt like the Cars area. It just fit into a hotel.
Yeah, it was so cute. I really loved the theming. Great picture opportunities. We took pictures by all the cars. It was just really fun. Like I remember right when we walked through, we were all just smiling. Like we couldn't not smile because it was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And our room had a great view. We were on the second floor of building 2. We actually had a view of the lake and of Pop Century, which was really nice. I wasn't expecting that. So that was a really nice surprise. Once we got to the room, we just kind of unpacked everything as fast as we could because we wanted to head over to Disney Springs. So we were like, we were going to try a lift again. And so while we were in the room, we ordered a lift. And this time the experience was pretty good because by the time we got to the front of the resort, the lift was there. And so we just hopped in and rode over to Disney Springs. Disney Springs was really fun too. We were dropped off on the west side. Going through the check-in points was super easy. There wasn't a line. They just take your temperature and scan your bags, and that was easy. We were all pretty hungry at this point because we hadn't eaten in a while. So we went to Pizza Point, I think is how you say it, because we all love pizza. That's one food that we can all agree on. Once we got there, there was only one couple in front of us in line, so we got our food pretty fast. We also got a table, even though the tables were blocked off on the inside. There weren't many to choose from. We got one, which was really nice, and the food was delicious, don't you think?
Yes, a very good pizza. If you just wanted a quick slice of pizza, before you start going looking shopping and stuff like that, or just quick food in general, this place is really good because you don't have to sit down if you don't want to. You just get a slice and then leave. Like very easy.
Yeah, it was great. We really enjoyed it. So after we ate our pizza, we just kind of started making our way through Disney Springs. We stopped at the Art of Shaving. We stopped at the Lego store, and there was a line to get into the Lego store, but it went really quickly. I think we maybe waited 10 minutes.
Yes, the line also wasn't bad because they had a ton of Lego sculptures, like huge ones to catch your attention and keep you interested while you're moving in the line.
Yeah, and that store was really neat. We really enjoyed that.
hmm
Then we went to Disney Pin Traders, looked at some pins. We went to Disney Days of Christmas because I always buy a Christmas ornament on all our vacations. That was a really cute store. Asher went into Goofy's Candy Company and bought some candy. He said they had a great selection. He was the only one that went in there. We went to Lefty's, the left-handed store, because we have 2 lefties in our family, and they each got some souvenirs there. That was a cute little, it was a store, but it was like a booth almost, like a kiosk kind of. And then as we were kind of leaving this area, we saw the volcano go off outside of Rainforest Cafe, and that was really neat. I remember it was kind of chilly. It was kind of cold outside, and when the volcano went off, it kind of warmed up like everything in that area, which was nice.
Like you could feel the heat from the volcano. Very cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. We stopped and took pictures with Mr. Potato Head and Buzz outside of Once Upon a Toy. And then we went to the World of Disney. This was the one store I really wanted to go in. There was kind of a long line. It said it was going to be a 30-minute wait, but we definitely did not wait 30 minutes. I'm thinking like 10 or 15 minutes before we got in.
Yeah, the line wasn't even that long as well.
Yeah, it was another one of those lines that just looked really long because of the spacing, but it actually wasn't. The boys each got a baseball jersey. Amelia got a Marie stuffed cat. And I bought 3 Starbucks coffee mugs for different resorts. I bought Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios, and I have no idea why I did not get Animal Kingdom. I really regret it because now I do not have it. But oh well, next time. Mm-hmm. So after World of Disney, we probably spent like 30 minutes in there just looking around and shopping and stuff. It was really fun.
Because that's where we got most of our souvenirs.
Yeah, we did a big shop there. After that, we headed over to the Coca-Cola store. I really wanted to take a picture with the polar bear, but he was not there. So we walked up to the rooftop bar, which that walk to the rooftop bar was so cool.
Yes, it was very nice to just look at everything. The whole store, the aesthetic and everything, it just looked modern. Really nice and modern.
Yeah, that was a really fun store. Once we got up there, the boys decided to try the Around the World tray of drinks. I got an adult Coke float, and it had Coke, Bacardi, Kahlua, and vanilla ice cream. It was super delicious. And Cameron got a Topo Chico ranch water, which had Topo Chico, tequila, and lime juice. And he said it was really good. He said it was really refreshing. But watching the boys drink the drinks from around the world was probably one of my favorite parts of the trip.
If you cannot handle just not great tasting things, or just like if you don't really want to try it, like if you're just kind of like, I kind of want to, and you're just looking for a drink that tastes good, I do not recommend the tray of just drinks all around the world. Majority of them did not taste good. Well, some of them were super bad. Like there's an Italian soda drink, and I think it was made from like the skin of grapefruits, didn't they say? And it was terrible. It tasted so bad.
And that was the first one y'all drank, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the first one I drank, and I took a big sip because my expectations were high. Like just tasting stuff all over the world. I didn't expect like the best thing in the world, but I wasn't expecting the worst. And then I got the worst, and it tasted terrible. But yeah, if you're really just looking for a really fun experience, I definitely do recommend it. And if you're planning on going to Disney with a ton of friends or family or stuff like that, I wouldn't tell them about this tray until like you get there and be like, oh, I heard about this. This is really cool. Because just the going in blind experience is really fun. It's an experience. Don't know if I can say fun because most of them, I'm not a fan of just drinking and eating stuff that I do dislike. And most of them were stuff I did dislike. But it still was like it was an experience.
It was fun for me to watch, I have to say. Because every time y'all drank one, y'all were really hoping it would be good. Mm-hmm. And it was not. So I thought that was really fun to watch. So we probably spent, 30 minutes or more there. We were there for a while. After that, we we started kind of making our way back out. It was getting kind of late. So we stopped at the Star Wars Galactic Outpost and then the superhero headquarters. We stopped at the Disney Candy Cauldron, and me and Amelia kind of peeked in and watched them make some candy. And then our last store we stopped at was the M&M store because Aiden wanted to get a souvenir with some M&Ms since the other two had gotten a souvenir at the Lefty store. That was fun. They had like the big walls full of the different M&M colors, and you could get a clear cup and kind of go and make a rainbow container, and that was neat.
It's a really fun experience just seeing all the stuff because there at the end of the day it is just M&Ms, but just the design of the store and how everything looks and stuff is really cool. Like I remember they have this wall of just the evolution of M&Ms, and it would take through the ads and stuff like that, like pictures and the logos of M&Ms. It would go from the beginning and showed that, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that was really neat. So we started walking back to the rider share area and looked for a lift, and it said it was going to be, there were no Lyft drivers in our area, so it was going to be a while. So then we tried to get an Uber, and this was another horrible Lyft/Uber experience. We probably sat there 45 minutes waiting for a car. And that was not fun because it was our travel day. We were exhausted and we're just sitting outside. We're all cold because it got pretty chilly. And we were kind of stranded. We just kind of had to wait. We really didn't have a choice. And so we finally got a driver, got back to the room around 11:30 that night, and went to sleep. What did you think overall of Disney Springs?
I do want to say that that was a really big like Uber and Lyft moments. Like we didn't really use Uber and Lyft after that, and I think you shouldn't. I don't think it's the best option for transportation. Like even though like the Magical Express and buses and stuff like that might take longer because it's got to stop at different places, at least you know you're gonna eventually get to your place. While using an Uber or a Lyft, it's like a huge gamble, and it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, I agree. We did use it a couple more times when we actually had good experiences we'll talk about. But yeah, looking back, I honestly think the best thing to do is just rent a car. So what were your thoughts on Disney Springs?
A definite must do if you're going to Disney. There's tons of things to do. Like we didn't even go to half the stores that were there. There's just so much to do. Man, I think it's a really great experience.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This was our first time going, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to spend an evening. Okay, so our next day was Saturday, March 13th, and this was a non-park day for us. We'd never done a non-park day, so I was excited to kind of schedule this in. We slept in, and I mobile ordered some breakfast from Landscape of Flavors, which is the restaurant at Art of Animation. I went and grabbed it, brought it back to the room. We kind of ate it, got dressed, took our time since we had a late night the night before. We had lunch reservations at Beaches and Cream at 11:45 a.m. So we got dressed, went over to the Skyliner. We had planned to take it to Epcot and then walk over to the beach resort. And getting on the Skyliner at Art of Animation was super easy. It was no big deal. We got right on, and then we headed over to Caribbean Beach. And when we were getting off at Caribbean Beach, we saw the longest line ever. And that was the line we had to stand in to get to Epcot.
Yes. It's I don't really know what to say. It's a really long line, and it's not really worth it because a lot of people think that it's like the best way to transport to get to locations. And looking back on it, and I'm gonna we'll probably talk about a bit more because we use this transportation the most, the buses. The buses I'd say is one of the best ways to transport, just because the lines they're not as long as the Skyliner. Like we waited in line for like an hour for the Skyliner just to get in to Epcot, and using the bus we would have been there in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we waited about 40 minutes to get on the Skyliner. At this point, we thought we were going to be late to our reservation, even though we had allotted over an hour. We left our resort around 10, so we gave ourselves an hour and 45 minutes. So I called over there. They said that they give like a 30-minute grace period. It was no big deal. I knew we would be there before then. So we got off the Skyliner at Epcot and we went right, heading to the beach resort. This was the first time we'd ever been anywhere like this to any of the other resorts. And so we kind of didn't know where we were going, but we found the restaurant and we made it there by 11:50. So we were only 5 minutes late. We checked in and they sat us immediately. This was a super cute restaurant. I was glad we ate here. The food was really good. Cameron and Aiden both got the burger. Cameron got onion rings and Aiden got french fries. And your burger was good, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really good. I really like the aesthetic of this restaurant. It was like an old-timey kind of walk-in Shake Shack kind of area.
Yeah,
Very
like a soda
cool.
shop.
Just love the way the aesthetics and everything, just the aroma vibe you get from the restaurant. I'd say it's a really good restaurant to go to.
Yeah, it was really fun. I got the grilled cheese and tomato soup. It was really good. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. Asher got the kids' burger and fries, and he liked it. And Amelia got the mac and cheese and fries, and she liked it. And her mac and cheese had goldfish on top, which was cute. So one of the main reasons I wanted to go to this restaurant was to get the kitchen sink dessert, but a table next to us got it, and I could not believe how big it was. It was seriously the biggest dessert I've ever seen.
It was huge. Like, there was no way we were going to ever finish that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
the
knew we
amount
could
of
never
just-
eat it, and so we were like, we asked the our waitress, "Is there a smaller version or something we can get?" And so she recommended the mini souvenir sink. So we got that, and that was the perfect size for us. And we got to keep the sink, and we bought there was a Mickey version and a mini, and we got the mini, and it was super cute. So that was fun. I think that was a good choice for us, don't you think?
Yes.
So they put it in a bag and we left. We walked around the beach resort a little bit. And then we headed out to where the lighthouse is over that lake and kind of looked around. We walked over to the boardwalk, walked around there. Most everything was closed there. Oh, and we haven't mentioned yet, but Disney was still very strict about masks. So we pretty much, if you were not sitting down and eating, you had to wear your mask. And so I think also a lot of stuff had not been open yet because of COVID. And so we walked around the boardwalk. We didn't go in anywhere. And at that point, we didn't really know what to do. We were like, what should we do at this point? And Asher had mentioned that he wanted to play miniature golf. And we got 4 free tickets to play golf at one of the Disney properties. They just mailed them to us. And so we were like, since we're over here by the Swan and Dolphin, why don't we go by Fantasia Gardens and check it out? So we did. We walked over there. Once we got there, there was about a 20-minute wait to play. There were 2 courses to choose from. There was one called a family-friendly adventure and then the thrilling challenge. And we chose the thrilling challenge. And on the Disney website, it explains it as resembling a traditional golf course built on a miniature scale. This course emphasizes skill over challenge. Sand traps, bunkers, water hazards, and sloping greens make the Fantasia Fairways miniature golf course an exciting challenge. So we chose that one. It was really fun, don't you think?
Yes, it was very fun. There was a lot of competitive going on. But it was just really fun. Like, it wasn't your normal miniature golf experience because they were just shaped like normal golf courses. But it was just fun to play in. Nice time to just hang out and play some golf while we just waited for our dinner reservation.
Yeah, we had a great time. This was something that I had not planned for us to do, but I was so happy we did it. It was so much fun. We are a very competitive family, so anytime we get a chance to compete with each other, we definitely take that up, and it was fun. We had a great time. So after that, we walked over to the Swan and Dolphin and took a bus to Magic Kingdom because we had dinner reservations at 5:30 at California Grill in the Contemporary Resort. Once they dropped us off at the transportation center, so we went and got on the monorail because Amelia had never been on the monorail before. My plan was to ride the monorail on the resort loop and stop at the Grand Floridian, but I'm not super familiar with the monorail or the different loops. And so we actually got on the theme park loop. So it took us over to Magic Kingdom. We didn't get off. And we rode all the way around again, back to Magic Kingdom. But that was fun. That was a nice kind of sit down break. And Amelia thought it was really fun. So after that, we got off the second time at Magic Kingdom. And we just walked over to the Contemporary Resort. And once we were there, we stopped at some of the gift shops because we were a little bit early. And then we didn't buy anything, but we just looked around. So after that, I just went ahead and checked into the restaurant. It was 5 o'clock and our reservation was at 5:30. And they sat us immediately, which was kind of nice. I wasn't expecting that. This restaurant was amazing. Everything about it was amazing. Don't you think?
Yes, this restaurant was really nice.
Cameron and I got a couple of drinks. I got the blackberry sour and he got the Ancho Rancho spicy margarita. Both our drinks were delicious. The kids just got sodas. We started off with the yellowfin tuna tasting and the braised beef short rib wontons. Both were delicious, like so good. I could have ate them again. For dinner, I got the Hearts of Romaine salad. It was so beautiful and really, really good, but just the way they presented it was gorgeous. Cameron got the grilled pork tenderloin and he really liked that. Aiden, you got the salmon, right?
Yes.
How was that?
The salmon was really good. Like, it tasted amazing. The only problem I would have with it was that it was pretty small.
Yeah.
So if you were planning on getting the salmon, and you weren't really that hungry, it's a great choice. But if you are really hungry, I would have chosen another option just so you could fill your stomach. But it tasted amazing. So maybe getting the salmon and another dish just to fill your stomach. But yes, it tasted amazing. It just wasn't big.
Wasn't big enough. And you ordered off the kids' menu.
Yes.
Asher got the cheese pizza and he loved that. And then Amelia got the mac and cheese and she liked that as well. And for dessert, Aiden and Amelia got the cookies and cream. So it was cookies and vanilla ice cream. And the cookies were homemade.
Mm-hmm. Like fresh out of the oven, like hot and really good.
Very good. And then Asher got the puffed rice sushi. And it was like a Rice Krispie treat with gummies. And it was actually a super cute dessert. I actually took a video of him eating it because I thought it was so cute. So our table was when you go in all the way to the left, right by the door that walks out to the lookout point. So while we were waiting for our food and in different times while we were there, we would go out and stand outside and just look around. And the views were amazing. Like, I can't stress enough how much fun this restaurant was, how gorgeous the views are. It was so much fun. And right at sunset, the chef comes out and he like rang a bell or he banged on something and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the California Girls Sunset." And everyone started clapping and it was right when the sun was going down. And that was really fun. I was really excited that we got to be there right at sunset. And this was for sure the best part. This was the best meal we had on the trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. It was just nice. Everything about it. The way the food tasted, the way the restaurant looked, the lookout point was just amazing to look out at stuff. Definitely if you can, a really good place to go.
Yeah, it was delicious. So we got an Uber to head back to the resort, and this Uber experience was great. Just came and picked us right up. We didn't even have to wait and took us right back to our resort.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got back to the resort, Aiden and I walked around to try to find the best spot that we had cell service so that we could get the Rise of Resistance boarding pass the next morning. And we found right outside our building, we were building 2 at the cars area, right outside the building by the lake was actually a really good spot, right?
Yes.
So we went back to the room, we went to sleep, and overall this was a really fun day. I really enjoyed this day.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so our first park day was Sunday, March 14th. We had park reservations at Hollywood Studios. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. I got up early, got dressed quietly while everyone slept. And then at about 6:45, I woke Aiden up so we could go outside and try to get the Rise boarding pass. And to my surprise, my son and his fast gamer fingers got us boarding group 3. Like, I've seriously never met someone who got a boarding group as high up as we did. It was
It was
amazing. It was
very
so
exciting because
exciting.
this was the ride I wanted to do the most out of all the rides there, and the fact that we got it so early, like we literally the second we got to the park, we got to do this ride. Um,
Yeah, it
it
was
just
crazy. Like, we were hugging each other. We were so happy. We ran back to the room and told them, and everyone was still kind of waking up, so they kind of didn't care, but we were so excited. That was really fun. So we all got dressed. I went and grabbed us a quick breakfast, and we headed to Hollywood Studios pretty early. We were leaving the room at about probably 7:20. And we walked over to the Skyliner, and the line for the Skyliner just to get on it at Art of Animation was wrapped all the way down the side of Pop Century.
yes, it's like it really made me nervous because I wanted to get straight to Hollywood Studios so I could use the boarding pass and we can get on the ride before like any lines and stuff happened. But the fact that the line was so long, it was going to take forever to get to Hollywood Studios.
So we stopped and asked a cast member, would the bus be faster? And he was like, yes, the bus would be way faster. So we walked to where the buses were. We got on the first bus, like a bus pulled up almost as soon as we got there. We got on and we were at the park by 7:45. So park opened at 9, but they actually opened early at 8. So by the time we got through security and everything, they were already letting everyone in. We literally ran straight to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and no one was there. I think we might have been the first people on the ride.
Maybe. But like when we got there was zero line. We walked straight onto the ride.
Yeah, we walked straight back and got on, and there was no one even around us. That was Amelia's must-do for that park, and that ride was really cute, and it was fun. And I'm really glad we did it because the rest of the trip, the line never got under like 50 minutes, and I don't know if I'd wait 50 minutes for that ride.
I'd say after going on the ride, it's not worth 50 minutes.
No,
It's
it's not.
fun, but there's just better rides with longer waits that I'd rather wait in than do that ride.
Yeah, I agree. So after we got off that ride, we went ahead and went over to Galaxy's Edge and we walked around because we wanted to see it and we knew they were going to be calling us really quickly for rides.
So like almost as we got into Galaxy's Edge, our boarding pass was on, and we got to go on the ride. So it was like entering Galaxy's Edge through the Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, so we got on the ride. There was only one other family with us at the time, and because this was our first time on the ride, I kind of just thought that's how it was going to be. We found out that is not how it is when we got to ride at a different time. But it was really interesting, just us and one other family. Like, it was a really neat experience, and we aren't going to give any spoilers away on the ride, but that is a really fun ride, and it's more of an experience than a ride.
It's a must do. Like if anyone in your family or any friend you're going with is a huge Star Wars friend or even just a medium Star Wars fan, it's a must do ride. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So after that ride, I checked touring plans and saw that Millennium Falcon had a 15-minute wait, so we went over there, but by the time we got into line, it changed to 40 minutes almost immediately. So we ended up only waiting 30 minutes, and because we were a family of 5, we got the whole ship to ourselves, and Aiden and Cameron got to be the pilots.
hmm This is another ride where I don't know if it's worth the full 50 minutes. The ride ends super quickly. It is a really cool experience because it's like a high score video game almost, because what you're trying to do is you're flying the Millennium Falcon and you're trying to get these parts. I don't know exactly what type of parts they are. They're just parts to get money, and you want to try and get as much parts as you can without the ship breaking.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a neat experience, especially since we had never done it before. After that ride, we found a photo pass photographer and took pictures. And then earlier that morning, I had did a mobile order for Ronto Roasters for breakfast, and I had scheduled it around this time. So after the pictures, we stopped and got breakfast. Cameron got the Ronto morning wrap, and he enjoyed that. And I got the Rising Moon's overnight oats, and I liked that as well. The kids weren't hungry. They had ate enough in the room. So we kind of just sat. They got a soda. We took a little break. And then we walked over to Star Tours and waited 15 minutes for that and rode that, which we rode that last time we went on our trip. But I love that ride. I think it's fun.
The line's never really super long for it, so there's no reason not to go on it, especially if you're going to Hollywood Studios. It's just a classic.
Yeah, it was really fun. So we needed a little bit of caffeine after that. So we went to Trolley Car Cafe, which is Starbucks, and got some drinks. The line for that was very long, very, very long. And while we were in line, we saw the Disney Junior Cavalcade. This was our first cavalcade that we saw. It had Fancy Nancy and Vampirina, and it was really cute. After we got our drinks, we walked down Sunset Boulevard, found a bench, and kind of just sat down in the shade and drank our drinks and took a little break and kind of figured out what we were going to do. And after that, we got in line for Rock and Roller Coaster. It was Asher and Cameron's must-do for this park. That was a 20-minute wait. We had kind of talked Amelia into doing that ride while we were in line. And we all rode it, and she hated it.
Okay. Unless you're a huge roller coaster type of person, it's not your ride.
No.
I'm a huge roller coaster person, and I loved it. It is one of my favorite rides. It goes super fast off the start. There's a ton of loops. It's all in the dark, so you don't even know. But it's just fast. It's fast and fun. But if you're not a fan of super fast roller coasters, then this is a ride you should not do. Like, not even think about it. Like, it's just for the hardcore roller coaster type of people.
Yeah, I love this ride as well. And what's funny is this was Asher's must-do, but this was the only time he rode it. Because after he rode it, he was like, I don't even know if I like that ride.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, it probably took us a good 10, 15 minutes to calm her down. She was hysterically crying. I mean, she was very upset. I felt really bad. But she had told me she wanted to go on roller coasters, so I figured we might as well give it a try. And she was tall enough. So while we calmed her down, we took another little break and we stopped. There was a little shop our little cart by the Anaheim produce place. And we got a couple of beers for me and Cameron. And then we walked over to Toy Story Land and we got in line for Slinky. And I think this was the longest line we waited in on the whole trip.
Okay, so I have mixed emotions with Slinky. The ride there is super long. Like, it takes forever to get on Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah, we waited. It was posted 60 minutes and we waited a full hour. It was long.
Mm-hmm. But there were some sections of just waiting that made it not feel that long. Because of this was our first time walking into Toy Story Land, so just taking everything in was really cool. And once we got up to the actual section of Slinky Dog Dash, like the building almost, it was really cool to see. Because if you didn't know, Slinky Dog Dash was made of just toys. Because it's Toy Story Land, it makes sense. But the boxes for the toys and stuff like that was what made the building. So there were tons of little details, like huge crowns, huge bottles of glue, boxes of the rides. It was just a cool experience, just taking in everything. Littler kids probably wouldn't be able to be able to take in the stuff. They're probably just want to be waiting to get on the ride, and it's a really long wait. It is a really fun ride, so it's probably going to be hard to keep them entertained. But like for older people, it's really cool to just see everything.
Yeah, it was fun. And I agree. The queue was really fun. It had a lot of neat stuff to look at. I think, and a lot of it is shaded, which was nice because it was a really hot day. But we all liked the ride. All of us rode it and we all liked it. And then after that, we went over to Toy Story Mania. That was about a 20-minute wait. I actually think they took time to clean this ride while we were there because I do remember there was a point where we kind of stopped and didn't move for a while. We all love this ride. We all had fun on this ride.
Toy Story Mania, I would say, is a must-do. The line isn't even that long, and it's just fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It also has a really fun queue. After that, we had a lunch reservation at Sci-Fi at 3:30, so we kind of started heading that way, and we saw another cavalcade by Echo Lake. This one had Chip and Dale, Goofy, Pluto, Minnie, and Mickey. We got to Sci-Fi at 3, and they sat us immediately, so we got to sit early. I really liked sci-fi. The kids, I think it wasn't their favorite. They were kind of freaked out by the movies.
So, sci-fi is more of an experience than anything. Like just seeing everything, taking in, just the way the surroundings and everything was really cool. But other than that, it was just like all right. Like they didn't play on full on movies; they just played movie trailers. And after an hour and 30 minutes of these movie trailers, they do it on repeat. So it'd be movie trailers. Which didn't really bother me because we were leaving right as like the repeat was about to start.
Well,
But
we weren't even there an hour. I think that
yeah.
play repeats every 30 minutes.
Oh, okay, then
We
yeah,
were there probably about 40 minutes.
okay. But yeah. And the food, um, so it basically had the same type of food, or at least the food that I ordered. It was kind of a lot similar to Beaches and Cream, except I think Beaches and Cream tasted better. Like I preferred Beaches and Cream over this restaurant, and I would say it is better in my opinion. But you could, if you're there more looking for like a really just interesting and unique experience, Sci-Fi is the better place to go to.
Yeah. So we got, for starters, the smoked seafood dip for me and Cameron, and we really liked that. And then Cameron got the specialty burger. I don't remember everything that was on it, but I do remember it had a fried green tomato, and he loved that. I got the beef and blue burger and liked it. Aiden just got a classic burger. Asher got chicken strips, and Amelia got mac and cheese. And by this point, she was like, I'm done with mac and cheese. I think this might have been the last time she got mac and cheese because she was so tired of eating it. But yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if I'd go back, but I do think it's a fun experience. So after lunch, we walked around Galaxy's Edge a little bit more. We stood in line to get into a couple of shops. We went into Creature Stall, Black Spire Outfitters, and there was another place in that area. We didn't buy anything, just kind of walked around, and then we walked around and took pictures, and we saw Chewbacca and Rey standing out, kind of interacting with the crowd. We found a PhotoPass photographer where I knew they were going to insert Baby Yoda into the pictures, so we stopped and got pictures there. And then a few months before our trip, I had made reservations for Aiden and Cameron to build a lightsaber at Savi's workshop, and for Asher and Amelia to build a droid at Droid Depot. So I surprised them for Valentine's Day, so they knew this was coming. So Cameron and Aiden went over to Savi's. That was at 5:15 p.m. And then Asher and Amelia's appointment at Droid Depot was at 5:30. So Aiden, talk about Savi's.
So Savi's workshop is really cool. So you get to choose what type of lightsaber you want to build, um, and then what color you want to have it. So you have a base template of it, and it's just this really cool experience of just building your lightsaber and just finding out like how all the stuff came to be and choosing your color with the crystal. I don't want to spoil everything because it's just a really
Yes,
cool
please don't
experience.
spoil anything.
Yeah, because it's just a really cool experience. And I think if you can, it's a really good option to do.
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. And it was cute seeing them with their lightsabers afterwards. So I went with the other two to Droid Depot. It was super busy in there. Tons of people. The line was really long, even though it was appointment only or reservation only. But it was really fun. Amelia built a purple BB-8 and Asher built a red and white R2-D2. Asher, he's 13 and he built his completely on his own. He needed no help and he really enjoyed it. And Amelia, she needed help, so I helped her. But we had a really good time and this was really fun. And these are so cute. I think it's a great souvenir if you have a chance to do it. And by the time we left there, Aiden and Cameron were done. So we all kind of met up and looked at each other's gear. And then I noticed that the Millennium Falcon had a posted 10-minute wait. So we went over there to ride it again so Asher and Amelia could be the pilots. We ended up waiting about 20 minutes. I feel like every time that ride has a low wait time, everyone runs over there, which is fine. 20 minutes I don't think that was too long. And it was really fun watching Asher and Amelia be pilots and pretty much just yell at each other the whole time.
Yes.
And then we had reservations at Oga's Cantina at 6:50 and we got there right on time. They sat us immediately. This was fun. I thought this was a fun little experience. Cameron got the Jedi Mind Trick drink and he really liked it. I got the Fuzzy Tauntaun. It's really good, but it has this foam on top that will make your lips numb. And it took me a minute to get used to that because that was very strange. We got the Rhodian ration to share. It's like almost like a giant jello shot. And then we got the Batu bits, which was just like a Star Wars chips and dip. And that was also really good. So for the kids, Aiden got the blue milk and you did not like it, did you?
So you either like blue milk or you don't like blue milk. It's very interesting. Like it's got the texture of milk, but it doesn't taste like milk at all.
Yeah.
Like it's like a chunky kind of. It's not like I don't really know how to explain it, but like it's not great.
You did drink the whole thing. I was proud of you for doing that.
Uh-huh. It's I do say you should because it's kind of like the big drink to get at Star Wars Land. Just like how getting butterbeer at Harry Potter Land and Universal is like the big drink to get because it's iconic. So I would say just getting one for maybe you and your family to share, just to try it, would be really a good idea. But just getting one for yourself, unless you actually like it, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I did not try it because I'm not a big milk fan, and I know it's not milk, but just looking at it, I don't think I could convince myself it wasn't milk. So Asher got Oga's Obsession, and they told him this is not a drink. It's like Jell-O, and he still ordered it. And the second he got it, he was like, "Why isn't this a drink?" And we were like, "They told you." But that is typical Asher. So he ended up ordering the Hyperdrive drink, and Amelia ended up eating the Oga's Obsession. Did you eat some of the Oga's Obsession?
Yeah, I ate a little of it. It was all right.
Yeah. So it all got ate and drank. Everything did. So once we left there, the park was closing. All the rides.
Before we leave Oga's Cantina, Asher got the
Hyperdrive.
Space. Yeah, Hyperdrive drink, and that drink was really good. Like I tried a little of it, and it tasted really good. Like if you have someone that isn't like a big fan of just like tons of different types of drinks, it's like this Sprite and cherry mix drink, and it tasted really good.
Yeah, they both liked that. Okay, so we left there. The park had officially closed, so we couldn't get any lines for rides. But we stopped and we took some pictures with the lightsabers because it was getting dark, so they looked really cool. And then we walked through Toy Story Land on the way out. And then right in front of the Hollywood Brown Derby on the grassy area, Chippendale, we're having a picnic. So we stopped and took some pictures of that. And we were exhausted at this point. This was a very, very long day. So we got up, we walked to the Skyliner, but the line was so crazy long. We just rode the bus back. We got on a bus really quick and we got back to the room by 8:30. And overall this day, it was really fun. We had a great time, but the park was really crowded. And I'm really glad we did Mickey and Minnie's early because that line was long. And we did not do Tower of Terror because that line was very long. But we were going back to Hollywood Studios, so I didn't stress about that because that was my must-do. And I thought this was a really fun day, but all of our reservations, it kind of like felt like we had to be at certain parts at certain times. Like we didn't have a lot of freedom that day.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, we have to be here, we have to be here, we have to be here. So looking back, I probably wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have so many reservations in one day. So our next day was Monday, March 15th. And I just want to say ahead of time, this was my favorite day of the trip. So I woke up at 7 a.m. I ordered breakfast and coffee and went and picked it up at Landscape of Flavors, came back, woke everyone up, and we all started getting dressed because we were headed to Animal Kingdom. We left the resort a little bit after 8 to go to Animal Kingdom. I just want to note that my original plan was to rope drop like every park, and I think Hollywood Studios the first day was the only one that we actually got there early. All the other parks we slept in because I just didn't realize once your kids get older, they kind of like to sleep, which was fine. It ended up all working out. But we got on the first bus that showed up and we were at Animal Kingdom by 8:30 and it had opened at 8 a.m., which means it probably actually opened around 7:30 a.m. So we took some PhotoPass pictures right at the entrance and then we went straight to Expedition Everest. We got in line at 9:56 is what I have, and we waited About 20 minutes, but I feel like that line, we just were walking the whole time. The line was really long. And then the queue itself is really long. And so even though it was 20 minutes, it never felt like 20 minutes, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Like we just walked straight the whole time. We never stopped walking, I don't think.
Yeah, it was a really quick line.
Yeah, and I really like that queue, so I was kind of hoping we could stop and look around, but we didn't get a chance. So we were put in the back 3 rows, and Amelia did ride this, and she rode with Aiden. And she said she was scared, but she actually liked it, and she ended up riding it again. I just love that ride. I think it's really fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a definite must-do for Animal Kingdom. The line isn't even that long majority of the time, or at least whenever we went, it wasn't. And it's just fun.
I
It's a
agree.
really fun roller coaster, and it isn't hardcore like Rock and Roller Coaster. Like you can like dislike roller coasters and still really like this roller coaster.
Yeah, I agree. And this was Asher's must-do for this park. So after the ride, we stopped at Thirsty River Bar and Trek Snacks, and Aiden got a frozen lemonade cup, Amelia got a Mickey bar, Asher got a Mickey ice cream sandwich, and Cameron and I got a beer. And it was very hot outside. I remember we were so hot and humid, so this nice cold snack was perfect. And we found a spot to sit, and we kind of just sat and drank and snacked because they were pretty strict about walking and eating. They really did not want you taking your mask off as you walked around. So after this, we went to board the train to take us to the animation experience at Conservation Station. And this was Amelia's must-do. She's really into art. And so I was actually glad she picked this because this is not something I would ever pick to do. And it ended up being fun.
Mm-hmm.
The train ride itself, I love this train ride. We did this train ride last time. It's just like relaxing. You kind of just sit back and I enjoyed it. I think it's fun. And the animation experience was a lot of fun. We did the 11:30 a.m. show, and we got off the train and went and got in line for this, and they let us in. Some of the people that were on our train ride, they had to wait for the next one, so I was actually really excited they let us in. And we drew a character from Raya and the Last Dragon. It's one of the little guys that hangs out with like the baby in the movie, so I don't even know if they have a name.
Monkeys. I think it was the one with the longer face and the hat.
Yeah, it was like the monkey with the sun hat.
Yes.
That was fun. So we drew that, and that was really great. And then we got back on the train and headed to the front of the park because we had 1:15 lunch reservations at Sanaa. So we had to go to Animal Kingdom Lodge at Kidani Village. And on the way out, we saw a Mickey and Minnie water cavalcade, which was really fun. So we went over to the buses and we got a bus to Animal Kingdom. We kind of had to wait a while for that bus. I'm glad I had allotted us the time. Once we got to the resort, we'd never been there before. So we kind of looked around and we stopped in the gift shop, and that was a beautiful resort.
Mm-hmm. It was really cool. Just seeing everything. It was just pretty.
Yeah, that's a really fun resort. So we went down to the restaurant. They sat us immediately. I didn't know at the time that you can request a table by the window so you could see the savannah. I really wish I would have done that because they sat us in the back and we didn't really have a view of the savannah at all. But the food there was amazing. Yes. We ordered the bread service, and Cameron and I loved the bread service. We loved every single sauce and dip, and oh my gosh, it was so good. And then Cameron ordered the butter chicken with the chickpea wat and basmati rice. He said it was really good. He liked it. I got the samosas off the appetizer menu for my meal, and that was really delicious as well. I think you got salmon again here, didn't you?
Yes, I did. The salmon wasn't as good as California grilled salmon, but it was still good. Like it's not a bad option. And it was a bit bigger this time, and also at this time I wasn't as hungry as I was at California Grill, so it didn't bother me as much. But yeah, the salmon was still it was still good. It was good.
Asher got a cheese pizza, french fries, and then Amelia just ate some of Asher's french fries. And then the boys each ordered the dessert grub for their dessert, which was like a cookie crumble and gummies. And the waiter actually brought Amelia a dessert, even though she didn't order a meal as well, which was really nice because I knew she was going to want that as soon as she saw the boys have it. Did you like that dessert?
Yeah, so that dessert was really good.
It was like a chocolate mousse with cookie crumbles and gummies.
Yeah, so it was on the very top. It was these cookie crumbles with gummy worms in it, and then as you went in, was trying to represent like mud. So when you reached in with your spoon, it was this chocolate mousse, and it was really good. And then at the very bottom, it was this marshmallow, and it was probably one of my favorite like restaurant desserts. These mini desserts you got. It took me forever to eat the dessert. Like everybody was like ready to go, and I was still eating mine because I was just enjoying it. But I really liked the dessert. It was good.
Yeah, we like literally got up and we started leaving, and you were like, wait, I'm still eating, but you were just taking too long. Like we had
Yes.
stuff to do. So we took some more pictures. I loved this restaurant. I would go eat there again for sure. It was so delicious. I loved all the cast members that worked there. They were so nice. I loved this resort. It would be so fun to get to stay here sometime. Like this was a great experience. And I really liked leaving the park to go eat. Like that to me was fun. That's something I never had thought of doing, but I'm really glad we did it because it was a nice break from the crowds and stuff. So we got a bus back to the resort. We didn't wait long for this bus. It came pretty quickly. We made it back pretty quickly. And once we got back to Animal Kingdom, we went straight to Pandora. Like we had to get in line for Flight of Passage. And the posted wait was 50 minutes, but we only waited 30 minutes. And this queue was another beautiful, beautiful queue. It was so fun to stand in and just look around. Like it didn't feel like a long wait at all.
So you first started walking around outside and just going through Pandora and stuff. But then you started going in this cave. And it was this really cool looking cave and stuff. And not long after that, you entered this like dark room. And it kind of looked like this like pondish area. It wasn't really, but like it was really pretty because of the lights and the coloring and stuff like that. And then you walked into one of the laboratories where they put the avatar. Like they put you in your avatar, and like there was a ton of really cool things. Like they had they had an avatar in this like tube, and these really cool like cell things, and then this desk with a ton of science things. It was really cool because it was like you were walking through the movie.
Yeah, this was really fun. And this was my favorite ride. Oh my gosh. This ride is amazing. And we're not going to give any spoilers or give anything away, but it's like a virtual reality ride that you really feel like you are in the ride. Like, not one time did I think I wasn't actually flying on the back of a banshee.
It is the best. It is one of the best rides at Disney. Like a must do. Like if you're going to Animal Kingdom, you've got to do this ride. You have to. It's just the best right there.
Yes, it was so much fun. And I would wait. A long time to ride this because to me it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got off that ride, we went down to the gift shop and I bought a Pandora puzzle. And then we stopped at Pongu Pongu to get drinks. And Cameron got the rum blossom and he loved it. I got the Mora margarita and I loved that as well. And then we also shared the Pongu Lumpia, which is a pineapple cream cheese spring roll. And that was so delicious. The boys got the night blossoms. They're a non-alcoholic version of the rum blossom. And y'all liked the drink, but y'all did not like the boba balls, right?
Yes. So the boba wasn't good, but that was like towards the bottom. But the actual night blossom drink was really good. Like it tasted amazing. Like later on we asked for it again, but without the boba. But like it is one of the best drinks there. Very good.
Yeah, and we just like literally sat down right next to the restaurant. We found a little spot and we sat there and drank our drinks and ate our snack, and that was a nice little break. And then we started heading out because we wanted to go to Magic Kingdom and it was already getting a little bit late. So we took some pictures on the way out, and then we stopped at Island Mercantile for Asher to buy a baseball hat because it was hot and it was sunny. And so he wanted a hat and he got a cute little black ball cap with Mickey on it. So we went out to catch a bus to the Magic Kingdom. We waited forever for a bus. I feel like the bus situation at Animal Kingdom is not great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like the Animal Kingdom, I would say is one of the times where we never tried it, but it might be worth it to just try to get a lift. Just because the bus situation is not that great.
I agree. We left Animal Kingdom around 5:45 p.m. and we made it to Magic Kingdom on Main Street by 6:30. So waiting for the bus, driving over there and getting through security. It took about an hour. It took a long time. walking into Magic Kingdom is one of my most favorite things in the whole world. Like, I just love it. That moment you get there, the very first time you walk through for your vacation, it is magical. And going with Amelia for her first time was so much fun. I just loved that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was evening time. A lot of people were leaving. Like, it felt very, like, almost, I wouldn't say empty, but it was not crowded at all, which was awesome. So we took some pictures in front of the castle. We went into some shops, and then we headed to the Haunted Mansion. That was my must-do for this. The posted wait was 15 minutes, and we didn't wait at all. We walked straight onto it. I feel like we were the only people there, and that was actually kind of creepy, don't you think?
Yeah, uh-huh. Especially because we're going to a haunted mansion.
Yeah, it felt creepy being the only people there. I really, really loved this ride. Amelia was a little bit scared. She was kind of like, why are we going on this ride? But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Do you like the ride?
Personally, I don't really like the ride, but it is a classic. And
Yes,
so
it's a
it's
must-do.
not, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go on the ride, but personally, I don't really like it. I still think like it's a must do.
Especially if you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
So then we walked over to Big Thunder, and this was Aiden's must-do. The posted wait time was 20 minutes, but again, we walked right on. We didn't wait at all. That's another long, long walk. And by, 10 minutes maybe it took us to walk through and get on. That's another really fun ride. Everyone loved this ride.
A lot like Slinky Dog Dash, like a roller coaster, but it's like a roller coaster for everyone. Like, it's just really fun.
Yeah, Amelia loved this ride. Like, she kept wanting to go on it. So then we went to Space Mountain. This was Asher's must-do. Amelia didn't want to ride this. We weren't going to make her ride it, especially after the Rock and Roller Coaster fiasco. So it had a posted wait time of 20 minutes, and we waited about 20 minutes, which I don't think is too long for this ride. I love this ride. To me, this is a classic. It's a must-do anytime you go. It's old, and it smells old and looks old, but I just love it. I think it's so fun.
It's a must-do.
And because we did rider swap, the boys got to ride this twice. So Cameron went with them the first time, and me and Amelia went down to the spot they told us to wait. And then when they got off, me and the boys walked back up and rode it. And so that was fun. So it's definitely worth waiting for, especially if you get to ride it twice. By the time we left Space Mountain, it was dark outside, and we had about an hour, maybe a little longer than an hour before park was going to close. And our goal was to get in line for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train right at 8 o'clock when park closed. So to pass the time, we went over and rode Dumbo. That was Amelia's must-do, and there was no wait. And honestly, I feel like the only time to ride Dumbo is at night. Dumbo at night is so much fun.
I agree.
So that was really fun. We got off that around 7:20, and we were hungry. And so we were kind of in a time crunch. We were like, we got to get some food, but we have to be in line by 8 o'clock because they were pretty strict. Like, they would close the line right at closing time. So you had to be there. So we're walking, like speed walking around the park, trying to find a place to eat. And we ended up eating at Sleepy Hollow, which was where I wanted to eat. We got 2 of the chicken and waffles and chips, and they were so good. Like, this was one of my favorite things we ate the whole time.
Okay, so it tasted amazing. But if you're someone that has a not good tolerance against spicy things, just like you can't really eat it that much. I'm one of those people, then I would avoid this. Like, the chicken I thought tasted amazing, but I couldn't even eat it all because of how spicy I thought it was. Like, I couldn't. Halfway through the chicken, I wanted to keep eating, but I was like, it's just so spicy, I can't keep eating.
Yeah, it was pretty spicy. It was spicier than I thought it was going to be, but I loved it. I thought it was great. And we got a little table outside. We were right by the castle, and it was nighttime. This felt magic. Like, this time, it just felt magic to me. We were sitting there. We were exhausted, like so tired, but we were so happy, and no one was in the park. It was just such a fun time, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. One of the best days.
Yeah, for sure. So we got some more pictures by the castle since it was night, and it was all lit up blue, and it was really pretty. And then we went over to Seven Dwarfs. We got in line at 7:50, and we were on the ride by 8:05. I mean, I feel like that's record time for that ride.
Yes.
That ride is so much fun. Like I've heard people talk about they don't like this ride. It's too short. The wait's too long. And I think this ride is so much fun. I think it's completely worth the wait. I loved it. Amelia loved it. Y'all loved it, didn't you?
Yes.
This is a fun ride. And to me, another ride that I love to do at nighttime, because those little parts when you're outside, you kind of get glimpses of things lit up and it's just awesome. So after we rode this ride, we walked out of the park. We took some more pictures on the way out. We went over to the firehouse and kind of looked over there. And there's some bathrooms over there and just kind of took our time leaving. And once we walked out of the Magic Kingdom, I saw the longest line I've ever seen in my life.
This travel experience was a fiasco. The line to get back into Art of Animation on the bus was going to take a minimum hour, maybe even longer, just to get on the bus.
It was seriously the longest line I've ever seen. I could not believe that was the line for the bus. It was insane. So we walked over there and we got in line and we waited probably 15 minutes and a bus hadn't even come. And it was late. It was after 8 o'clock. So it was probably like 8:30. And Cameron and I were like, we're going to be here till 10 o'clock, just standing here. There's so many people. It was so many people. So we looked on our Uber app. We kind of gave up on Lyft at this point because Lyft, it just kept saying there weren't any drivers in our area. So we looked on the Uber app and there were Uber drivers. So we requested a driver. We literally ran over to the Contemporary Resort for them to pick us up. You had to carry Amelia at one point because she was like, I can't walk another second. And we were running over there. It was so crazy. But we got
a travel experience, and I'm very glad Uber worked because that was a huge gamble. Because if Uber didn't work, we would have gone back and would have had to wait so long to get on a bus. Like it would have been crazy.
This was our best Uber experience of the trip, for sure.
Yes.
So by the time we got to the resort, over to the Contemporary, right in front of it, they picked us up. I think he literally got there 2 minutes after we got there, picked us up, took us to our resort, and we were in our room just a little after 9. So that ended up working out really well for us.
Mm-hmm.
My overall thoughts of the day, this was my favorite day. Our first trip, I remember I didn't really love Animal Kingdom. I kind of thought it was meh. It was okay. This time I loved Animal Kingdom. I knew we were going to go back on our trip. I couldn't wait to go back. I also just loved how empty Magic Kingdom was. I loved being there at night. It was just so much fun. Like walking around Liberty Square, there was no one around us. And it was just so much fun. This was a really fun day.
I agree. My personal favorite day was Hollywood Studios just because Hollywood Studios was my favorite park, but this definitely was my second favorite day. And we still have like 3 more days left that were just equally, it's just great.
Yeah, this was a very long vacation. And so for it to be going so well this early on, I felt like we were really lucky for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's part 1 of our vacation. Look for episode 2 for the rest of our trip. And guys, there's a lot more good stuff to come. Thanks so much for listening today. Visit our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales for pictures from our trip. And if you could please leave us a review on the platform that you listen to us on, that would be so great. This really helps our show grow and for more people to learn about us. If you want more information from our sponsor, Trolley Lane Travel, visit their webpage at trolleylanetravel.com. If you use them to plan your next vacation and want to be on the show, tell your agent this is how we get our guests. I can't wait to talk to you again. This is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.